I'm Dave, and this is Podcast in Cars in Miami, where we take out exotic cars, talk to interesting people, and go to cool places. In today's episode, we're taking out the Rolls-Royce Ghost. It's a car with meticulous craftsmanship. It has a 6.6-liter twin-turbo V12 with 563 horsepower. How could we forget the Starlight headliner, guys? It has a fiber optic starry night interior. And also, it has the retractable hood ornament for protection. And how could we forget the Rolls-Royce umbrellas? We're on our way to pick up my first guest for the podcast. His name is Dasilva. He made his first $1 million at 18 years old. At 27, he's already a veteran in the game. He's done every business model from drop shipping to affiliate marketing, crypto. He is truly a genius. He has made multiple 8 figures himself, and I just cannot wait to speak to him. We're gonna go pick him up right now, and we're gonna go eat at one of the most luxurious neighborhoods here in Miami, Brickell Avenue.
It doesn't matter what business you get into. The business does not matter. It matters how you think. The thing is when I got out, it took me 3 months from the negative 3K and somebody else at this point. Yeah, and in a single day we made like $3 million net. That list for 2 years straight, just 260,000 people produced well over $3 million in net profit.
Hi, what's up, Valkyrie? What's up, bro? Dan here, picking him up at his place, Paramount, top building in Miami. All right, guys, we're here with my boy, Dan Dasilva.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Well, thanks for being part of this. It's my first time doing this podcast, and I couldn't think of a better guest to have than you. You're an inspiration. You're a freaking veteran in the game. You're only 18 years old. But anyways, let's get it started with everyone that doesn't know you. Let's take it back from the beginning. Where are you from, and where did you go to high school? What was that like? I know you made your first $1 million at 18 years old. So let's talk about that experience. So take us back, man. Take us back to the very beginning.
How far back? Like high school starting onwards?
Yeah. Okay, so where were you born?
Okay, so
yes.
I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
And my mom had me when she was 17. I never met my real dad.
Okay.
So the dad that I have now is like my dad, because like he raised me from birth.
Okay, so you're a real dad. Okay,
exactly.
Gotcha. All right.
So I actually grew up a lot, or predominantly, with my grandmother on my dad's side, and so she taught me Portuguese. So I was learning Portuguese and English at the same time. And then it was a lot of moving around.
Okay.
So what I mean by that was my dad was a mechanic. He was actually is one of the world's best mechanics. Outside my Audi.
Oh wow.
Audi. Okay. China, like to go ahead and like do something with their cars and whatnot. So that was one big thing was that he was always traveling, always building, and he started building his business when I was really young. I was 8 or so.
All right.
So I got to see the start, but also the trade-off was my mom worked with him. So the trade-off was I got to see them here and there. They were always traveling because of work.
Okay.
And the business was extremely successful.
Okay.
So focusing on European cars, right? It did exceptionally well, but like I just said, the trade-off was more so a lot of time. So we didn't get to spend as much time, together growing up. But I learned a lot. And I was also the only child.
Okay, you were only child. You were you say you were raised by your grandma in the beginning. You had already an entrepreneur father figure.
Yeah.
Started this business. Okay, great. And you said the trade-off was like you didn't get so much time with your parent, but you did. Maybe that's kind of what ignited kind of the entrepreneurial spirit, was seeing your parent.
100%.
Right? Is that where you think it came from?
I mean, definitely, it's imprinted on whatever happens when you're a child. It's imprinted long term.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Essentially, seeing all that, seeing how, he had to build, and more so now I understand that I'm older. It was for a better life, a lifestyle for me.
Yes.
So, which comes to an interesting point where it was like moving from school to school. And so we ended up getting to this town, like some suburban town in New Jersey.
Okay, so it's always in New Jersey every time. Okay, just different schools in Jersey.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right.
So we basically went from classifying it as not the best area to an okay area to all right, now we're where the white people are.
Okay. All right. So your parent did really, really well.
So yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I was a terrible student. I was rebellious. I mean, you know how I am now.
Yes, I know.
Imagine I only grew up and I got a little bit more rebellious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I got in trouble a lot of times for the most random stuff. And then we got to suburbia here.
Okay.
And it was a shell shock for my mom because I got there. I think I was like 13 or so.
Okay.
I wasn't 13. I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade. And so like the other moms and I never accepted my mom because she was part of that clique. So then that came with the stigma of me too, and also maybe acting up as like a bad kid. So like 3rd grade, 4th grade, everyone's like, nah.
Poor mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
But it was more so for me. So all the way through, nobody really like cared too much. No, like I wouldn't say cared too much. It just wasn't like I was like the first person anyone was hanging out with.
Okay.
Or the last.
Okay, gotcha.
So so I kind of just like did my own thing all the way through high school, and then I ended up getting emancipated.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a whole story. The reason being is because my dad.
How old were you when that happened?
16.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is gonna be really important. So growing up from birth till I'd say like 13 years old, I'd always celebrate. Like I have a really big family on my mom's side. So she has 2 sisters, a brother. So technically 3 sisters, a brother.
Mm-hmm.
So my closest cousin Chris, we're like a few months apart birthday wise. So we were really close.
Okay.
And we would we do everything like sleepovers, birthdays. Like we're really close. So 13 years old comes around. I'm used to Easters at my Aunt Carla's house. I'm used to Christmas at my Aunt Alice's house. And so, like, my birthday, like, everything basically that you do. Like, you celebrate everything.
Yes.
And then 13 came around, and my dad wasn't a practicing Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So my grandmother was. She always was.
Okay.
And still is, till this day. So when I was 13, my dad ended up converting my mom to become a Jehovah's Witness. And so that, again, being the strict religion that it is, they don't celebrate anything. So
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
nothing. No birthdays, no Christmas.
No birthday, no Christmas.
Nothing. So 13 comes around and
All of a sudden, you don't get any more birthdays or Christmas or
it's
yeah.
just like no more family. It's like cut off.
No.
But I'm the only child. So like,
Wow.
So at this point, again, it's not like I have a bunch of friends in school either. So like
Yeah.
now I'm here like so, and it was also like, without getting more so vague, it was a very rough. Growing up at this point because it became very hostile in the house between me and my dad because like we would go at it, like we'd try to fight, like because I was rebellious as hell.
Yeah, and he was trying to be, he's more controlling, you would say, for sure. Got it.
Yeah.
So that's probably not a good mix. Rebellious kid, controlling parent.
I don't know. But again, when we have such a great relationship now,
Okay.
like, an amazing relationship now.
Okay.
But at the time, it was like it was bad.
All right.
So it was one time me and him were going at it, and at this point, and he doesn't care about this, but he took steroids, like he was taking tests, like all that. So he was like, dude.
All right.
So what did I do? I took tests. I think I was around. No. This is now we're going towards 15. So
Whoa.
so from 13
to 15, you took.
Yeah.
So you're some jack 15-year-old.
Bro.
Oh my God, I didn't even know this about you. Like a Guido, like a Jersey Guido? Is that you?
Not a Jersey Guido, but like
That's hilarious.
I was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta see pictures of those. We should like put a picture of you when you were 15, Jack.
So then that's why we went at it. But between 13 to 15, this animosity started to build up here.
Okay.
Because now I'm not allowed to play any violent video games. I'm not allowed to play majority video games. I'm not allowed to go out with anybody. I'm not allowed to.
No birthday parties. No. Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. It was like I was trapped. So, and not having a sibling, like it was just me. So all I had, I'm not even kidding, like on everything, I had books in the bed. So because they take away my TV when I act up in school and stuff, if I was acting up, so I just have books in bed.
You remember which books?
So
Yeah.
I read all the Harry Potter books. I read all the Series of Unfortunate Event books.
Okay.
And then out of nowhere, I actually picked up. I forgot. I don't remember the exact book, but it really got me interested in oil. So out of all things, right?
Okay.
The economy of oil.
All right.
So and how it all worked, and that's kind of what sparked this is the seed that was planted for years later. So now we're at 15. Like I'm going at it with my dad, and so my mom had to call the cops. That got that bad, right? So the cops come in, and we're talking like a 15-year-old me, like
Jack.
There's tests on tests, all right.
Oh my God! All right.
So I'm a bull.
Yeah.
So the cops come in like just to cool it off. Nah, I wasn't having it. I picked the cop up, I slammed him on the table.
What?
Two options: juvenile detention center, or I had to go to Bergen Regional Medical Center, which is basically I don't want to use the term like insane asylum, but it's like a medical facility for the mentally ill.
Okay.
So I mean, I hope he's still alive. But when I first got there, I was so angry. So those are the two options that I had, because I was under 18.
Got it. So which option did you go to?
So I went to the
okay.
the mental facility.
Oh, the mental facility. Okay.
So, I got there, but here's the thing: like when you take words, you have to have your PCT. You have to do it properly, right?
Yeah.
So then I spent my night like getting admitted in there, and it was just such a hassle. But I'll never forget this, bro. There's this kid, I said Sebastian, and I hope he's doing great. Cause I'll never forget this, bro. I walked in and they just give you a cot to sleep on, right? And they call the guys who sedate you.
Yeah.
Like if people they get out of hand.
Yeah.
Call them Mr. Strong, like paging Mr. Strong, and then you'll just see like 2 or 3 big ass black dudes. I'm not even kidding. Just straight up just come with a huge syringe.
No.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What?
So like you just. But here's the thing. I always thought like, yo, why like 2, 3 guys like on one like little white kid like.
Yeah.
So I refused like to take the pills they were giving me, and then I called Mr. Strong. I said, "Perfect. Want to go, Mr. Strong? Because I'm up here. I'm amped up because of the whole situation.
Of course.
And still,
Yeah.
I'm on roids. So now we're getting a situation where somehow, some way, they must have had extra stock in the back of people. Because like next thing you know, I'm throwing hands with the dudes that come at me with a huge syringe trying to hold me back. So, and then they ended up, once they fucking jabbed it in your neck, you're sedated. So I was sedated. I ended up crashing, like, obviously.
Yeah.
And all my emotions going crazy. And so they rest you on like this cot. It's not even a bed, but you have other people in the room. There's probably like 3 or 4 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a very interesting perspective as I reflected on it over time. Yes, they are extremely mentally ill. I'll never forget this one girl. I don't remember her name, but I do remember she had everybody else's name carved in her, like a knife, like
wow,
all over it. And it gives me like a Shutter Island vibes, right? So it in a very, it made me like.
Yeah, what did you get from that? Like,
I at the time I was like, my biggest complaint was I do not belong here.
Okay.
Like first off, like this isn't the problems that were there was not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it also was a better safety net than a juvenile, going to juvenile detention center. So,
yeah, with like other juvies.
So
yeah, what do you mean more trouble?
I mean, so it's interesting because in a different universe, in a parallel universe, things could have gone a hell of a lot different, right? So if I did go to juvie and I met certain individuals, later on, things could have been completely different. Because, by the time I got to 18, all that, but we'll get to that. I was supposed to get out in 5 days. But then the doctor, and this is when I was diagnosed manic bipolar with severe depression. This is when the diagnosis happened. So,
and that's early. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so
right.
That's when like
you were 16, 15.
So 16, yeah.
16 now. Okay.
Yeah. So
we're getting to the emancipation part.
Exactly.
Okay.
So actually I'm either 15 going into 16. Very close.
Okay. All right.
Because when I got out, it was 7 days. I was so hyped on the 5th day, like talking to the doctors.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, just a few more days. And I was like, all right, a few more days, huh? So 7th day I was out, and my mom came and got me. I went home. I said, I'm out. I packed my bags. I literally just left. and I went to my best friend's house at the time,
Okay.
and he lived in the town right over. But our high school was 2 towns, so I knew him. His mom also had him when he was very young as well.
Okay.
So, I think the same age as my mom too. So, like, really cool family, really cool family. He also doesn't know his dad either, so it's very, like, relatable.
Okay.
Kind of just chilling with my best friend at the time, at his house, and I had my stuff. Not all my stuff. Like, it's not like I packed a huge baggage,
Okay.
but enough clothes, right? So, I was just sleeping on his floor, like 2 sheets and a pillow, and just in his room.
That's really nice that family took you on. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
So it came to a point where his mom realized, like, caught on, like, okay, you've been here for like the whole summer, for 3 months, every day. And this was like my first experience of, like, we're talking high school freedom.
Wow.
Because remember, all the way through I had none. So
Yeah.
So this is when I started to make friends. But it's because I guess through life I ended up, like, learning to be able to perfectly get what I want by saying certain things and being able to control narratives and situations. So then the people that never messed with me before, all of a sudden, when I'm convincing this, some people to throw parties at their houses, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go. And then I became friends with a bunch of people, around different towns. Why? It's because I needed a way to make money at the time. So I was 16. I remember this. I was 16. And this is when I started selling. So I started selling, marijuana, like a bunch of.
Of course. I feel like every entrepreneur's first business is always being weed.
So, like, I was taking a bus, from Jersey to New York. I was going to Jamaica, Queens to pick it up. Bro, I was a little white kid. I walk in, I'm not even gonna say, like, I was so scared, but I'm like, all right, I'm in and out. But the prices were too good to, like, say no,
Okay.
But here's the thing.
So here you're a suburban kid buying pounds of weed in the hood.
I was getting fronted a bunch of Reggie, a bunch of garbage. But here's the thing. Right? Oh, it's sold because I told you. It was the suburban area. These white girls were paying like $400 for an ounce when I was able to go ahead because they just brewing back like 80, 90 for an ounce. I was like, all right. That's what I said. Now it was getting fronted and it was like, whatever. So that was my first business. I scaled that because how can you not?
How much did you scale that?
So I was doing well, I mean, the case is over, but it was a decent amount to end up getting in trouble, and how I got in trouble we'll get to. But here's the thing. At 16, like I said, right, I was with my best friend the whole summer. So then it was time to go to school. Yeah. So school started. So I went to school. Now I was really close with my vice principal. Her name was Miss Brooks. Amazing woman. Like, we had a great relationship because she'd always see me out in the hall because I would not go to class. Any class. I would just do everything except go to class. She's like, what class are you supposed to be in? And I'd be like, Miss Brooks, I don't really know. I was like, I'd be like, you have $1 so I can go to the vending machine? She was so cool. She's like, shout out to Miss Brooks. So she was tolerant to a point. So she was always an advocate for me, but obviously in her position, she couldn't, do a lot to help what I was doing. So regardless, it was like, dude, I think I was the only person or in history to ever get a negative grade in a class. I went from 0 to -1, -2, -3, ended up being -4.
Yeah.
Because in gym. So because I wouldn't show up, and when you didn't show up, it was an automatic like 2 or 4 point deduction. Yeah. So I didn't show up so many times that it went down to 0 and below 0. So when the report card came out, it was like negative. I'm like, oh wow, well, yeah, this is new. So okay, so now 2 weeks into school. This is junior year, yeah. Okay. So at this point, I had the taste in summer where I was out like all the time, enjoying life. So I was like, all right, this is amazing. Now 2 weeks into school, I got a call from Ms. Brooks. I go to the office. They paged me, and because they knew I wasn't in class, so they're like, just come to the office. Yeah. So I went to the office, and I'm like, what did I do now? And and I think the first thing I said was, how did you guys know I wasn't in class? Because I thought that's what I was getting in trouble for. Yeah. And she was like, then sit down. I was like, oh boy. I was like, here we go. I was like, what did I do? She was just like,
you're not allowed to be here. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what? I was like, what? She was like, you physically can't be on the property anymore. You can't be at this high school any longer. I looked at her, I said, what are you talking about? And she's like, your father went down to the middle school and signed you out of school because you don't live at the residence for the school.
Wow.
As a way to try to get me to come back home. So I was like, well, this is awkward. So I went back to my best friend's parents' house, and his mom was there. She was like, why are you home? I didn't know what else to tell her, so I just told her, hey, like I can't go. Here's the paper, like whatever. Bro, that same day she drove down to the municipal court in Hackensack, New Jersey, and she told, I guess, the clerk what happened, and the judge just so happened to be so pro school and education, super, and the only way that I can get back into school was if I had a residence, which technically I did because I lived with
Got it. Yeah, with your friends.
and at this point when school started, the spare, they had a spare bedroom, was a bed, like a bed and whatnot. They were like, you can just have it, like it's your room now. Wow, so I know, and angel. Okay. So technically I did have a residence. All right. Yeah. So what happened was the judge, because he's so pro school, I didn't even have to be there. And for an emancipation to happen, the whole process has to happen. And then the judge decide, like a huge process happens.
Of course.
Because technically speaking, emancipation is when like you get your rights underage, like you could be 18 years old, right?
Essentially, yeah. Overage when you're not really.
Exactly. Okay. So in my case, my emancipation was the judge actually signed over 51% custody of me to my best friend's mom, so she can sign me back into school. Wow. So I got back into school, and I can already tell you, I didn't talk to my parents this whole time, and I ended up finding out later from them, my mom was furious. They thought that's how they were going to get me back home.
And I guess it didn't work.
Didn't work, so I didn't go back home. Wow. Bro, if anything, I'm like, all right, yo, let's turn up. Like, all right, this is junior year. And so I got, my core group of friends. It was like, me, Ryan, Christian, like they embraced me, like, and love those kids still till this day. So I'm back in school, blah blah blah. And I'm doing my thing, start scaling the bud, like, because at this point, bro, like, let me tell you something, like, you were talking like a juice Dan looking real good.
Selling you weed.
I'm talking
pounds of weed. Okay.
I'm talking to everybody.
I have to see a picture. We have to show a picture of you.
It's specific.
Jacked up fucking Dan.
So I had one on Facebook for a long time ago, and I didn't do it. It was but anyway. So here's the thing. I ended up just like naturally vibing with like girls. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, I would go to neighboring towns because my best friend, our friend group, that friend group that I was with was they were kind of like how do I say this nicely? They were mall rats. Okay. So like the girls would go to the mall, like those obey kids, those light skinned kids, like the thing, yeah. So it's like you're Dominicans, so and man, the food, I'll never forget the food, bro. But anyway, let's keep going. So they knew like a bunch of girls from a bunch of different towns.
Okay, so let's get back. So you got pounds of weed. You're selling it to your school. You're scaling.
So not just to my school. So this is when I started getting the pounds.
Okay.
So because I was just having like 4 onions, like 4 ounces at a time or so. Okay, all right. And so next thing I know is I'm connecting with like all these chicks and whatnot. They're just like because they're just buying. But here's the thing: some of them were just so retarded, man. Like they were just like, if we give them like a 0.6, they pay $30. I'm like, all right. Now listen, yo, game is game, all right? Game is game. So
what profit margin is that? Like, what is that, 300%?
I'll tell you that. So, but like, here's the other thing. Like I said, some other girls, like, I'll never forget, one girl in Westwood, bro, I'd take a bus. It was like a $7 bus ride. It was like, 10 minutes on the bus, right? Because they didn't want to walk that. And I'd go there to drop off a zip. She'd give me like $400 something in cash. And the zip cost me, like I said, like 90 something bucks.
Yeah.
So I was, I ended up meeting like a lot of girls, and this is important only because me knowing a lot of these girls is the reason why a lot of people like wanted to start hanging out.
Okay. Because you knew, because you were the dealer for all these girls, and you had all these girls around.
So not even
Damn the cool man.
It was a mixture.
Okay, all right.
Like I knew them, friends, whatever. Then
All right.
so this is gonna be like this is gonna be the most fucked up part of the whole thing. So yeah, listen. You know, small classes with the kids that are not, not as like
Special.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
But not special to the point that they're retarded. They're just slower learners.
Okay.
I was friends with those kids. So like, 'cause before all this happened. So like it's not like my group of friends, but
Yeah.
I talk to them like all the time.
All right.
And so, there was two brothers that were in, those classes, and they were like, man, we always want to party. And I'm like, you got a house?
Okay.
And his mom was a traveling doctor,
Okay.
and they had a house all right next to the police station too. And let me tell you something.
Yeah. Wait, you throw parties there? No.
It's like the Ordo police station, and the house right next to it, bro. Like right next to the parking lot. Like if anybody ever goes and like geolocate,
Yeah.
like Ordo Police Department, you'll see the house right next to the parking lot. Of that is exactly where I would just invite. I would invite every single person I knew from the surrounding towns, and that's why the people like in high school, they would be like, "Yo, Dasilva, can we come?" I look at them and be like, "Yeah, okay, sure." All right.
All right. So tell us. Okay. So here we are. You are what now? 17 at that point?
Yes. Now we're getting to 17. Yep.
Point. You are slanging wit to all of New Jersey. You're throwing crazy parties. How do you go from 17 to making your first $1 million at 18 years old inside your online business?
Do you know what book came out in 2017?
Please tell me.
Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game.
Okay.
I bought it.
All right.
So I read it, and it changed my perspective. Now here's the thing. It didn't change my perspective on my business, on what I was doing, right? It changed my perspective on how I viewed, not necessarily how to like invest or anything, more so how to think. Okay. Because investing is a lot of it's not just something that anybody can pick up, right? Well, it is, but you have to be very logical when you invest, not emotional. And so a lot of people play it safe. So I started like getting intrigued, and I started looking through more books, and recommendations came up, and I bought a second book. The second book when I was 17 was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
All right.
That book right there was the one that set everything in motion. So
you know what? It's so interesting that you're saying that, because not that many 17-year-olds are really picking that stuff up. It really talks about the importance of reading at an early age. What you did. I mean, you came from literally selling weed to finding these books, and now you're mentioning that just by reading those two books, it changed the way that you thought about life. Right? Not necessarily business, just life. Correct?
Correct. So, like, you hear me say this all the time: is it doesn't matter what business you get into. The business does not matter. It matters how you think, how you perceive the world, how you perceive people, how you like accept situations that go down. And so, but we'll get to that. So I'm 17, but I'm starting to pick up these books and whatnot. I only pick up those two. I actually didn't read Money Master the Game all the way through.
Okay.
But, time goes by. I actually got like a Mac computer. And by the way, when I was 15 years old, I would like secretly go on my mom's phone and go on this site called Warrior Forum. Do you know what the Warrior Forum?
I don't know what.
So the Warrior Forum is a Make Money Online forum. It's where like people launch info courses, affiliate marketing, everything. So at 54, by the way, to cross-reference, if you search Dan Dasilva 15-year-old IM Warrior Forum, my profile's still there. So it's just me like flexing. I'm 15 years old, and you can see the profile created like 12 years ago. Yeah. So like I'm asking questions, all of this. So, but again, I didn't follow that path because life took me a different way. Yeah. So I ended up getting like an old Mac computer, a desktop, and so I just started to kind of get back into specifically the affiliate space because I was very intrigued into that.
So affiliate was your first business model. It wasn't drop shipping, because I know you from
everybody does. So affiliate. So I've been an affiliate longer than I've ever drop shipped.
Wow. Okay.
So even if you, again, cross-reference those forum posts, even on digital platforms, it was always about affiliate marketing.
Okay. For everyone who doesn't know what affiliate marketing is, essentially you're just driving traffic. You're the middleman between leads and a business, and you get a percentage on every
Lead, sale, whatever it is.
sale, whatever it is.
So that's how, again, this will make sense in a little bit, but it's how I dominated so fast because I already knew paid traffic. Because of affiliate. So
That's why you killed it at dropship.
that's why, that's because I was under the million advertisers on Facebook. This was an ad mob was not even acquired by Google. Google acquired AdMob. It was the biggest mobile advertising. BuzzCity was around. Like there were so many things that were out there that is not around today anymore. But so again, this is when I was learning, but I was also using that drug money to go ahead and like, test a few things and like test campaigns.
Wow.
So I wasn't able to become like super profitable, but I learned to run traffic. Actually, I lost more than anything. And so I actually have this picture. I posted it once as well. And I still remember it. One day, at this point now, I'm 18, okay? So I'm learning. I'm connecting with this one kid, Yair Dolev. He was my first ever partner. We ended up launching a course specifically on what we were doing with CPA.
Yeah.
So cost per acquisition, so just lead generation, and you get paid. We launched it on a platform called Warrior Plus, and Warrior Plus, I mean, we shattered records, and that's when I was like, holy crap. Okay, but anyway, but that's kind of a little bit later on down the line. We've met, and I was still learning, and I'm 18 now. I built a vision board.
You're 18 now. You're starting your affiliate offer online. You're starting to learn Facebook ads.
I'm starting to learn everything.
Everything. Okay.
But I'm still, selling weight. So, we're going ahead and still doing that biz. I'm putting together this vision board, and I still have it posted in 2015 or something like that. Like 2014, I posted it on Facebook. I mean, I'm going to achieve this one day, and everything on there. I look at it now. I'm like, I did that. A little bit of an upgrade, from what I actually thought I wanted. I had a Rolex on there. I had like an Audi A5. Like, I was like, yeah, this is what I want. Like, and I'm like, a little, let's, but here's the thing. 5 days after I turned 18 years old, I heard a knock on my door, and I was like, I thought it was my friend who I was living with.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't want to hang out right now. I was doing something.
Yeah.
So, it went doom. I was like, bro, not right now. And then it was doom. I was like, yo. I was like, not right now. And they were like, doom. And I was like, if I come to the door, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I was boom. Bro, I went to the door, unlocked the little latch. All I saw was like police shirt that says SWAT on it, dogs, everything. Like, I was like, perfect. I'm like, no, I didn't say perfect. Yeah. I was like, in my head, I was like, great. So that was a huge turning point. Now, what
was the SWAT team for?
Dude, they surrounded the house. I don't know. Like if they thought, like, here's the thing. I only got robbed one time ever, like selling, and they were doing a sting operation on me and watched me got robbed. Wow. Craziest coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Even I, like, till this day, because they showed me the pictures, like, because they were sitting across the street. I was like, the only time I ever got robbed was then. I was like, it's kind of strange, but it's coincidental. So
they were doing a SWAT operation on the weed that you were selling.
So yeah. Okay.
So it's crazy that happened. Now it's like, and now it's legal. It's everywhere. It's legal.
Because what they ended up doing was I had four different people pull into the driveway, and I was dropping off. Like, they were picking up those days. They arrested all those people, and those people like should have like snitched on me. But again,
okay. So this time you got swatted. You just started your online business.
I didn't start the online business yet. Okay. Not yet. I'm connecting the pieces.
You're learning the ads and all that.
Not yet.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm really ingraining myself into visualization. Yeah. Like, I close my eyes and picture what I want. I'm thinking. Gotcha. I'm starting to think differently, which again was such a weird transitional period, because like I understood, like oh crap. They want me to do another year of high school. I'm not doing that. I'm dropping out. Like,
you already had decided to drop out.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember if I dropped out already, because they wanted me to do a whole other year. But in my head, I'm just like, crap. Man, I think I screwed up. So
Gotcha.
so
We just got to a location. We're gonna continue the conversation here on American Social, and we'll keep talking in there. All right.
but
All right, guys. We're here at Old Days Cafe. Cheers, bud. We got a little drink, so we can keep it going. All right, so let's keep it going. You just made a bunch of money in 3 months with drop shipping.
Yep.
You reinvested in yourself. You spent $25,000 to go to the seminar with his other high-level entrepreneurs. So let's take it from there. And what happens after?
Everything kind of snowballs fast. So I went back, and that's when I picked up YouTube.
Okay.
And I started documenting the process. And so I had it just blew up so fast, out of pure luck. By the way, all this is just like throwing crap at a wall and see what sticks.
Okay.
It just happened it stuck on the first time. So, and I guess it stuck on the second time with YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
and you were one of the first people to really do.
I was the
on
first
YouTube.
person.
You were not one of the first.
Yeah.
The first person to even talk about Shopify on YouTube.
So
Now you have all these drop shippers, all these people essentially copying you.
I mean, yeah, not learning from and just perfecting it. And I actually love to see it because it's more, I fell back like from making content a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it just became, that's why I don't know how you do it, bro. Dude, content is a job.
It is.
Job,
It's a
man.
job, yeah.
And I wanted to focus on making, a lot more. I was a content creator, but I was also somebody who wanted to build and keep on growing. So, of course, organic content, depending on what the end goal is. But my philosophy has always been, if you go ahead and you study, you build. More importantly, you build. If you build something that people need, a tangible skill, like a software, whatever it is, you build something. Mine became a tangible skill. People will need you. You don't need them. That's why when you say, or I tell you outside, man, I don't like networking. I don't want to go out and meet people. I don't. It's not because it's an arrogance thing. It's really not. My time allocation can go towards learning something, doing something, being productive, building something that will attract people that want to be around me, that know of me. That's why whenever we go somewhere like a ClickFunnels event, people will surround. It's because I don't go out. I don't present myself. Because I focus on that, and that's where even Becker. I talk to Becker all the time about just kind of. I used to talk to him a long time ago. But it's the same exact effect here. He doesn't network none of that.
Yeah, for all you guys to know who Alex Becker is, he's the one that created Hyros software, who recently sold for what, 100 million, right?
Yep. Stock deal for 100 mil.
Yeah.
So. Great guys behind that too. So shout out to David and Wyatt as well. But yeah, it's my whole thing was always build something, tangible skill, whatever it is, and it turned out to be the right philosophical mindset, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
Is because eventually I just kept focusing on building the channel, and the number one thing that I really nailed down, that still till this day, which is our main business, was. Every single video, I would have a call to action in the description, not for a course, it was always for an email opt-in. It was just a free guide, 10 products, whatever it is, because that would build the value. And then what I started to do with that list ended up becoming 300,000 people organically.
Wow.
But here's the thing, without running any paid ads, that list, the personal brand list that I used to run all the time, I don't run it anymore because obviously it's an older list.
Yeah.
No, that list for 2 years straight before Tanner J. Fox and I, partnered, where I signed him to Ecom Dudes. That list for 2 years straight, just 260,000 people produced well over $3 million in net profit. So 2 years, without
off of an email list,
organically, just from the YouTube videos. That's it. I wasn't running ads to that.
It wasn't click the link below to go to a VSL page. It was opt-in email, and that was it.
Yep.
And get this PDF.
Yep.
And then you would just retarget them with emails.
Correct. It was strictly emails, not even SMS at this point. Back then, nobody was doing it.
Yeah, of course.
It was just emails.
What were your open rates at that time?
Because it was MMO still.
Yeah.
It depends on the segmentation. So if I was segmenting 20, 30,000 people that were the most recent openers in the last let's just say 4 campaigns,
it
would be 60% open rate. But it was never about the open rate. It was actually about the quality, and people would never understand that it's more so quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So like when people show me like, 700K list, well, I can out revenue you with a fraction of that.
Yeah.
Because I train my people to go ahead and accept me giving them an offer that's like $3,000, $10,000. They expect that from me. But when most people go out there, they get free. And then when you ask them for something, like you ask your customer or your list for something, they're like, "Whoa, what are you doing? This like we want free. We're not here for all this."
Yeah.
So that's what Jimmy from Sendlane.com, he brought me under his wing and he taught me that. Because Jimmy was part of the syndicate, and the syndicate was a little ClickBank group of guys like Frank Kern, Onik. It was them that ran ClickBank, and they were doing $1 million launches like every other week. They'd cycle off, and on the $47 products. So Jimmy was also part of that. Jimmy started Sendlane, and he brought me under his wing. And here's the thing, people always ask, well, how much did you pay Jimmy for mentorship? I paid him $0, whopping $0.
Wow.
I reached out to him. I said, how much do you want? And by the way, I already paid like a $25K for the. And I asked Jimmy because he finished the launch. The launch did 400-something thousand in a week, right? On a $17 product. And then he back-ended. The back-end was Onyx product that Jimmy did $2 million just from the sales from the customers of the $400,000 $17 box.
Jeez.
So that's when I was like, all right, I just need to see what's going on here.
Yeah.
So Jimmy taught me all about, like email and whatnot. And that's when I realized like the actual power. But Jimmy also got me into the room with like Onik and like,
Got it.
like, how, it doesn't matter, but Onik is very big in the space. He publishes and owns a lot of rights like Damon John, Robert Kiyosaki. So again, he's somebody I always looked up to. I used to buy his products too when I was really young.
Okay, so you are now killing it in the dropshipping space. You're around all these big entrepreneurs. You're what, around 19 years old now and 20 years old now? 19, right? And you said you made a bunch and then you lost a bunch, and then... Yeah? Yeah? Got it.
It's a recurring thing.
It's a recurring thing. Okay.
It's because, bro, I've said this so many times. If I use it all again, I end up in the same position I started in my parents' basement with every single connection that I have, the knowledge I had, and it'll take me just like when I got out of rehab, right? And again,
we'll talk about that here in a second. Yeah.
When I got out of rehab, I had less than nothing because I had to refund everybody for DFY, and that was millions of dollars. And I went into the hole really bad. Like I went into rehab with a ton of money in my bank. They take your phone and everything. I made my way out, which is against the advice. The moment I went back on my phone, looked at my bank, bro, it was like negative like 3,000 something. I was like, I was like scared.
Yeah.
Because I still had my penthouse that I was paying for. I still at this point I also sold my cars to pay people back. Yeah. So that was like one of the reasons why was because like I bought my Lambo, bought my G-Wagon, and I was like, no, it all imploded because of the problem, the whole drug situation. So the thing is when I got out, it took me 3 months from the negative 3K and somebody else at this point get back on my feet, and I was negative 3K. Less than 90 days later, it was like December 14th or 15th. I used everything I knew on how to use free resources and what I had at my disposal. Yeah, and in a single day, we made like $3 million net. That was my biggest day ever.
Okay,
still to this day.
Still to this day. Okay, so you.
So it was 2.4.
So you made all this money at a very young age, and you said you went to rehab. Obviously, you got into a little bit of drugs for a little bit. You went to rehab, and you got out of rehab, and you automatically
went right back to doing drugs.
Right back to doing drugs. But at the same time, you obviously built another crazy business. It goes back to you just having the knowledge and the skills to just turn it back on. You made, like you said, $3 million in what?
2 point something.
In what?
In 24 hours.
In 24 hours.
Yes.
And this was with what business?
It was the bull market.
It was the bull market. Okay, so all right. So a little bit of stocks, crypto, a little bit. Yeah,
hell of a lot of crypto.
Hell of a lot of crypto. Gotcha. Cool, man. All right. So any advice? Now we're gonna go ahead and just end it. I always end this with any advice for people, because just from your story, and it's actually very, very moving. All right. You come from you know, obviously you were a troublemaker when you were young. Or I mean, still, you're a grown man now. You've made millions and millions of dollars at a very young age. You've lost it. You've gained it again. What's the advice for people that, you know, maybe are starting to make a lot of money early? Because a lot of young kids now making money very, very fast. And I see it.
I totally.
Yeah. So what's the advice? Because I didn't make my first million until I was 30 years old. You made your first million at 18. So what is your advice for, say you were talking to 18-year-old Dan, what would you say to it?
Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
If I were to go back and tell myself anything, is understand who you are now, where you were, and who you want to be, and make sure that aligns.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people do make a lot of money, people will lose it because nothing good lasts forever. Great things do. So at the end of the day, I realized I got stuck in this vicious cycle of consistent money, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everybody perceives somebody else based off of money. Let's face it. Let's call it like it is. And so not having to worry. If you have money, it will be very apparent. But striving to only make money just to go ahead and make money, it will destroy your health. It will destroy relationships because the time you take away from just the world. Like I isolated myself for years.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys even know. Like I still focus and just go in.
Yeah.
I love to work.
Yeah.
But I know so many people who get so infatuated with the money, and it's like,
would you say it was like an ego thing? Because you would say when you were young, you were kind of equate what you were making with who you were. Would that be an advice for somebody?
No. Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
So let me dive in deeper. All right.
Yeah.
So everybody always like saw me like, oh, Dan, you bought the Lambo, you bought the G-Wagon, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I didn't give a shit about a Lamborghini or a G-Wagon. I bought a G550 and like a 560.
Yeah.
Those are the basic you can get. I bought cash off the lot. Like, I'm like, all right. Like, if I was really into cars, I would have, gotten, like whatever it is, like a G63, whatever.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day and this is what is really most important is what I learned is how humans are. And that's why, like, with copy and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's my skill, is that I didn't buy a car. I bought a feeling.
All right.
So to answer your question, people don't want to necessarily be flashy for just to be flashy.
Yeah.
They want to be more so accepted. And that's what I currently go and try to do. Is I see so much potential in so many kids, and I do try to right my wrongs through them.
Got it.
So, and that's taken away a lot of my time to do what I want. But I do see the path, because it was really dark. The whole drugs, it's all about the hedonic treadmill. Because your first million, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 5 million still feels great, but nothing like your first. 10 mil?
Very true.
10 mil, you're like, all right, I've been here. Like, so what do you do? Or what did I do? I went to drugs. That's the only other way that I can go ahead and possibly get that same release, a 10 out of 10.
So you would say then it all makes the money feeling emotion with, I guess,
Chasing the money is
not the
chasing the money is gonna
key, you would say.
At the end of the day, money comes and goes, right?
Yeah.
And I think people are gonna have a really hard time realizing that when it's all said and done, you better hope you saved and played your cards right. Because like I said, what was working 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and it changes every 2 years.
It does.
And that's why you see me hop around from industry to industry, but I am always able to go ahead and just conquer whatever I take over. Number one, because I refuse to not be able to tell myself I'm not going to do it.
Don't get hooked on that feeling of I need to make a meal a day, or a meal a week, because you never know if that's going to change, and you're going to get addicted to it, and you're going to get depressed if you don't hit those, as you would say, right?
Yeah.
Have an exit plan. Would you say it's a good advice for somebody?
If that's up your alley.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody needs an exit plan immediately. I think you should really decide whether or not, most importantly, cliche, do you want a family or not?
Okay.
As I get older, I'm like, all right, like, I've done all of this for so long.
Yeah.
When does it end? Like,
Okay.
then what?
That's great advice.
So, like, I know it's like really cliche. And,
Yeah, I know. It's
like,
not
nobody's
cliche.
more so like not the advice people want, but it does. People that make a lot of money will, at a really young age, will really understand that, because you get lost so fast. It's a different world. When you're in your early 20s, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
All right? And then people are around you because you can do that. So when you try to clear those people out, you feel like you have no one left.
Yeah.
So you associate that.
So know who you're surrounding yourself around and know that they're with you for you and not for what you're providing them.
That's why I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I was just everyone's ATM. Like, I had the 22K at night at Tao. Like, I wouldn't even drink. Like,
Yeah.
what was I doing? So, like, it just became, be you. That's it.
Okay.
The
So
money-
the
the
money
money
the
will follow.
camera and give the advice to young 18-year-old, starting to make a lot of money online, or a 20-year-old. Say to them, give them just a couple words of advice.
Words of advice. All right. Number one is to actually, whatever you want to do, do it. If you fail and you give up, that's okay, because we all need employees. So, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is you can only do the same thing so many times and keep failing at it before you realize that, okay, this doesn't work, you're going to get it. Look at Mr. Beast.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, or just anybody.
Yeah.
So it's the consistency. It's the consistency and not giving up. So it's just that.
Thank you for your time. That's it for the show. Now, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And make sure that you stay tuned into our next episode, where we're going to take out another exotic car. We're going to go talk to another interesting business person, and we're going to go to another cool place right here in Miami. So guys, that's it. So make sure to not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next.